Alright, in A Thief's Fortune, you are playing as a thief who has found a mysterious hourglass, and in doing so you are able to see glimpses of the future and kind of know what you are going to be doing with some locations, maybe some characters, or some events that might be happening. So in this game you are going to draft cards from either location cards, character cards, or event cards, and you are going to have help with some of your resources, as you can see here on the board, and the abilities on these cards to be able to move cards from your future to your present and then to your past. And in the past you will gain the points that are on the card. So let me explain a little bit of setup here. We have the stack of all these different cards, the resources. This is the round track, the score around the board. And the most important thing in this game is your player area. So in this player area, you have your present, which is right here in this area. Locations we'll put up here, characters we'll put down here, events we'll have, and once the events happen, they will go to our past here. Our future cards are going to go all on over here, and when we add those cards down here, we are also going to add the resources that go with them that are in the loot area, and you are going to be able to use the cards in that way. But it's important to know that future, present, past. Past, you get the points at the end of the game, what it says. Present, you're going to be able to use those cards. You can only have 4 of each type. In the future, you can have as many as you want, and you might want to leave them sometimes because you can manipulate the resources on them and things like that. But you will understand that later as you play the game. But at the beginning of the game, you're going to start with 5 cards with at least 1 of each. So let's do 2 events, one of those, and let's do another character. So the game consists of 5 rounds, as you can see here on the board. And in those 5 rounds, you will have a planning phase, a looting phase, an action phase, and a bribing phase. So first, in the planning phase, everyone is going to have their 5 cards. Everyone's going to draw 5 cards with 1 of each at least. All right, and then you are all going to pick one at the same time to be able to put in your future area. Everyone's going to put it down, and everyone's going to turn it over at the same time. Now, whenever a card is added to the future area, you're going to add the corresponding resources. So we'll put this and this there because that card got added there. Each player will then take 2 of the other cards in their hands and pass them to their left or their right, depending on the arrows that is in that round. So on this one, it's going to be to the left. So everyone passes 2, you receive 2, and you are going to pick one of those cards to play again. You're going to again put 1 in the future. You're going to put the resources that are on those cards, and you're going to pass 2 again. And you're going to do this until you have 1 remaining card. When you have 1 remaining card, which means you've played 4 cards in the future, then you will discard this card and receive the favor that is in the bottom left corner. So that way you get something for whatever card. After that, you are going to do the looting phase. So players will look at what round it is, and you can see how many resources. So here is round 1, and it says 5. So how many resources that you can take from your future area and place those resources in your own stockpile. And so you will be taking them one at a time, and it is important to know the order, because once you have taken all of the resources off of a card, it's going to move from your future area into your present area. Whenever you remove a danger token as well, you are going to add it to your danger track. We'll explain more of that later, but it's important to manage this track. It's not good, but sometimes you're going to have to put yourself in danger to get some nice cards. If you don't want to take 5 or whatever the number of resources is, you don't have to. So you can always leave a certain token. Say I don't want this danger token, so I'm just going to leave it out on that card and take this other resource. You never have to take all the number or all the resources off a certain card. Removing the resources off the cards is important because, again, as soon as you remove and there's no resources, you immediately move it to your present area. And you can also trigger abilities that should be carried out before returning to collect the remaining resources. So make sure you'll read those cards. If it does trigger something, perform it before finishing your looting. So after you now have maybe some more cards in your present area, you're done with your looting phase. It's now the action phase. So each player will do this in player order, and you will choose to activate a character, an event, or spend time, or if you can't do any of that, then pass. So when activating a character, you will perform its ability and then turn it sideways indicating it's been activated. So this guy, I would use his ability, so spend one of those to get one of those. Okay, so I did that, spend one of these, and that's gonna give me that. So now I know I've used this, so it is turned sideways. When activating an event, then you can do what it says on the card. So activate the ability, and then the card would be moved from here over to your past. Now you can spend 2 time tokens, and in doing that you can take any one resource from a card in the future. And so this might be also good is because you can, at this time, if you took the last resource off a card, it would immediately come over into your present area and trigger anything that it might trigger as well. So this game is just full of combinations, and you can set them up by doing some of these things and spending 2 time to take one of the resources off, and maybe you have to use that resource, or to use it, take it, move the card over to trigger whatever. Now when you are done going around and you can't do anything, then you will have to pass. When you pass, you no longer can do any more actions at all, and the first player to pass will become the new first player for the next round. So after that is the bribing phase. So each player is going to check their danger track marker, and they are going to pay the number of basic resources, which are the sword, the gem, and the lamp, and these danger tokens remain on their track. So the more danger you have, the more resources you're going to have to pay, but these will stay for the next rounds as well. If you don't have any resources down here to be able to pay for any of that danger, then you are going to have to pay in your fortune points. So for each one you cannot pay, you lose 1 fortune point, and if you do so, then this danger token will actually get moved off of your track. Once everyone has paid their bribes or have taken off points because they couldn't pay it, then a new round will start. And so the new starting player will get the first player token, and all players reset all their activated cards and characters and locations or whatever might be put sideways. You'll put those back, and the game ends after the 5th round of doing all this. And you are going to want to try to cycle through as many combinations to get certain card abilities, to push your cards to get points as fast as you can, to be able to do as much as you can, because the 5th round ends, the game is over. You will add up your points from the cards in your past area and then add it to the score on the score track. You will also get 1 point for each 5 basic resources that you have, and the player with the most points is the winner. Now, to be able to further understand this game, we're going to talk about these cards. So if you look at this card, in the top left you will see this is the loot area, and this will be what you're adding to your future when card is played in the future area. The text will show the card name, the card type, and the card ability. On the bottom right, it shows the number of cards in the game and the fortune points that you can score with it. And in the bottom left is the card favor. So while you are drafting the cards, at the very last, you will get this bonus for discarding that card. Again, this area over here is the future area. This area is the present area. You can only have 4 cards in the present area. But if you do have 4 cards and you get a 5th card that is added from the future by taking all the resources off of it, it'll get moved to the right here and push the card off to the left. That card in the left will automatically go to your past area, and at the end of the game it's going to score you those points. And so the more of a certain type you have to push over, you lose the abilities that are on that card, but you gain the points for the end of the game. This past area here, you can have an unlimited number of cards here, and they are usually kept in a single pile here. You can check it whenever you want. So in the game, you need to carefully choose the order of receiving resources during the loot phase, as it will set up the order of your cards in your present area, and it will help you make combinations with those cards and its abilities and its effects. So sometimes you might need to intentionally also leave the last resource on a card in the future and not add it to your present and wait until better timing to bring that card in. Or it will leave a place that you can gather resources generated by other card abilities that will be able to help you gain more resources. And so this game is management of these cards and also being able to trigger their abilities to be able to do more things, gain more resources, and push more cards into your past to gain more points. Again, this is A Thief's Fortune. If you like what you see, then go back it.